I asked the question, what is the role of entrepreneurship in economic development? But we thought the best way to solve unemployment at that point in time was to encourage young people to come together and form companies. Of course, the company that we proposed was the cooperative company. Because the key challenge until today is that when you want to form a company, you need money. And to get money, you need collateral. And so our idea was to say, okay, if you don't have collateral, where will you get money? Today it looks a bit different. You can go to some places, but 20 years ago it was even worse. So we said, okay, let's promote this idea of cooperatives. In the end, I must admit, sadly, it didn't work because of many issues, but it's a different topic of discussion. So today I want to come back to this thing of economic development. And I thought by starting off with a few interesting questions on economic development. In economic theory, and some of you study economics, there's always this distinction between what is economic growth and what is economic development. And without going into the details, I think we should focus on economic innovators. I don't know what happened to them. But so if it's true, the question is then what determines this innovation? Why are some countries more innovative than others? Why are some systems more innovative than others? And what is the role of the entrepreneur in all of this? Remember, if you go back to the topic, is entrepreneurs in Namibia's future. So our future is to develop. So how can we get there? Will it just happen kind of one day we wake up and we say we have reached Vision 2030? It's not going to happen like that. It's going to happen if we become more innovative. We have to understand what are those factors? How can we get to that point? So I think 3 factors are important for me, because my postulation that I make is that at the center of economic development is innovation. And if you in innovation, there are different players. You have your whole innovative system, but you have different players. I don't know what happened to but so if it's true, the question is in offices quickly, because otherwise 2 years later, if I'm a manager of a bank, I will ask, what did you do? I was at home. What did you do? I studied the P degree, then I was at home. Policy makers will play a role. Associations will play a role. I must just say, it's not only Nigeria. You also find some of the best entrepreneurs in the world are what we call the overseas Chinese. And in China, when they speak of Chinese, they are not in China, they speak of overseas Chinese. Because there are so many Chinese, 1.4 billion. And then there are few that have gone out all places in the world. They become highly successful. They dominate trade in Singapore. They're the most successful businessmen in Southeast Asia. They are becoming successful business people here and in the rest of the world. So the question is, why are they so successful here? When the same person is not as successful in China. So, and a lot of it comes back to some of the ex-enforced president demoted, and when she was demoted, she said, look, this is not what I was employed to do. So she resigned as a head of principle. And she went back to the US. And in the new government that was just formed, she was reformed. Just in a period of 5 years, you can see Nigeria starting to slide back again. 19 Nigeria is spoiling a lot of human capital in many items. But a lot of interesting things happening in Nigeria. In fact, they are set to become the biggest economy in Africa. They are growing at a very fast rate. And what has changed is really your governance, your regulatory environment. And still a lot of problems, like I said, at least better. Does my psychology and these 3 things help me? I think yes. think when you go into business or into any environment, you realize that ultimately you deal with people. If you just focus on the bottom line, it's not going to work. So you have to understand how people work. And you have to go in all the way to the top. You can't just focus on one. It's very challenging. I see where we are held back currently a lot is on, and I'm saying it specifically because is on the issue of what we call research and development. You find that we don't have our business schools, whether it's at a poly, whether it's at UNAM, they don't respond to the business needs. There's not a lot of research done. I also act as a lecturer at UNAM, and I also do from time to time supervise master's dissertations from the poly and from UNAM. You look at some of the topics that people select, and you wonder, are we really safe? Are we challenging ourselves enough to provide solutions to business? Because it's very generic topics that we have. We won't focus in specifically on a company. If you go to Harvard, they will do, for instance, a case study of Starbucks. Why is it that Starbucks is so successful? You'll find maybe 1,000 people who have studied it and will write a view on it. At the end of the day, you can conclude Starbucks is successful for A, B, C, D. What was the turnaround strategy of GM? I've never seen a strategy, a study on, for example, Alt-Harvard list. I want to challenge if one of you go for dissertation, maybe go to Mr. Team and ask, can I study the OML group? I think it will be a fascinating study, but it will add a lot of value. Because it's one of the groups that actually have managed to expand beyond our borders. In economic jargon, we call it globalized. They've started to regionalize and globalize. And for Namibia to develop, ultimately we have to export, we have to globalize. So it doesn't help your company successful only here. If you can at least defend your turf, then we can come to a point where we say our companies can at least play in our own game.